Guy, what's
What?
good?
What up, Jay?
Not much, man. We was just on here talking because, of course, as soon as I got on here, people were like, "You seen Loki?" I was like, "We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk
We'll
about
talk
it."
about it. I put it in my title that we was gonna talk about it. So if people don't want spoilers, go ahead and leave the chats. Leave the
Right,
chats
you
because
gotta go.
we gotta go in on this because my mouth dropped. I want to hear your thoughts first.
Okay,
I know
okay. Do
you
you
had
want
some
my
time
thoughts
to
on the
think on it.
finale? Do you want thoughts on the finale or just the series as a whole?
Um, we can talk series as a whole for a little bit. Let's talk series as a whole. I know for me, this might have been my favorite series so far. I don't know how you feel.
Ooh, I'm on the exact opposite of you right now, bro.
Okay.
Like, I think it's my least favorite out of the three. Um, just because I think I was on like one, I felt like I was on a high after Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So I was just like, oh my god, like it has to be amazing. Like Loki's coming, it's gonna be dope. And it started out a little slow for me, so I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is different. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of going through things methodically. Um, but I felt like as a whole, the series was more of a setup vehicle for what's about to happen in the MCU, more so than a case study or a character study on Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first two series, I feel like were character studies for those characters. But they were a bit different because Wanda and Vision never really had character development. They
Yeah.
were just there. You're like, here's Wanda, here's Vision. They're Avengers now. And neither did Sam and Bucky either. I mean, Bucky was mind controlled for half the time he was in the MCU.
True.
And Sam was just that side character. So, granted, I understand why they did it differently because Loki has been in plenty of movies. We've seen his character develop. But I felt like we didn't learn anything new about his character. And a lot of it was just set up for the multiverse and kind of where we're going in the MCU. But that's kind of how I saw it.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that. I know for me, so when WandaVision kind of started this whole thing with the TV shows, I was definitely interested because, like, similarly to WandaVision, this one started off a little slow. I was like, okay, I'm kind of confused.
Yeah.
WandaVision, by the end of it, I was like, I enjoyed that Marvel seemed like they were experimenting with writing a different type of show. Like, they experimented with the idea. They basically kind of proved that we can do something that's like drama, suspense, not necessarily dialogue oriented, not necessarily action. Because I remember feeling that way. I think like right before we got the reveal of Agatha Harkness, I was like, "Yo, like this got me kind of on edge right now. Like, what is about to happen?" So that was definitely my thought with that. This one, and I might, again, this is also why I wanted to hear your take because you watched it and you've had time to sit on it. I could be fresh off of like writing how the finale went. But for me, I know I liked this one. There were a lot of things I didn't like about it. I'll get into that. But
Yeah.
but what I liked about this one was kind of seeing a lot of things come full circle. That like, there have been theories on concepts, debates, fan theories and everything, and just kind of seeing everything kind of come to fruition, I think was really hitting me like, yo, like it got me very, very hyped for like the next thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what other Marvel movie did that for me. It might have been, I don't know, I won't say it was Infinity War, I can't remember now. But
Man, but the end of Infinity War, though, I feel you when it
True,
was
true,
like,
true, true. No, never mind. It was
yeah,
Infinity War. Infinity War gave me. I think the last time I felt like this was the beginning of Infinity War because I remember sitting in the theater for the beginning of Infinity War, and like, that first little opening sequence. I remember being back in my seat like, oh, y'all starting like this, and similarly, my friend and I both said like the entire movie we're just like, yo, like, what is about to happen? Where is it going? What's that? And then boom, like that was it. And so for this show, I remember hearing the music at a certain point, and I was like, this is about to be the end of the episode, bruh. Like, it's really about to have me just sitting here like, no fulfillment.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's definitely like I think why it ranked pretty high for me. Um, I agree with you with It's so funny. I recently just watched Captain America and the Winter Soldier, the movie, a couple weeks ago, and like realizing back then, I'm like, yeah, they really just kind of threw Sam in here. Like he popped up out of nowhere, and like it was cool. But then when he like got his wings and stuff, when they were like, "Yeah, you said you were a pilot," and he was like, "Oh, I never technically said I was a pilot." I was like, "What did you have to do to get into this specific program that you were using the fact?" Like we never really got clarification.
Right. And it was just like, I don't know, like he met Captain America. Of course, if you meet, like, think about it, in real life, if you meet a superhero and he says he needs your help, you're like, bet, I'll do whatever. But he rode for Captain America so hard, and he only knew him for maybe a week and a half. And it's like, we understand they're going to be friends, but like, let us build up to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I felt like we didn't get that look into his character. It was just, okay, he's a war vet. He helps other vets get acclimated with society again.
Yeah.
And he loves Captain America now. And he's an Avenger. He can fly. And it's like, that's what I liked about that show, was that they gave it so much more depth. And I feel like it fleshed out his character a bit. And while Loki, it does flesh out his character a little bit, we had already seen the previous Loki that died in Infinity War. We saw him grow already. Mm-hmm. So it was almost like a rehash of like, now this Loki's going to see how, he's not really evil per se, but
yeah,
he's kind of that misunderstood villain that grows over a certain amount of time. And not to say that this show is bad, because I don't think the show is bad at all, but I think it is the third out of the three in my ranking of those shows. And it's hard to compare them because they're so different, especially with WandaVision being like a sitcom, especially for the first 4 episodes. It was literally a sitcom. Yeah, I don't know. It was crazy, though. It's a crazy experience.
I for sure feel that. Like it definitely is hard to like rank them because they all have great things about them for different reasons. Because yeah, like for me, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was kind of your typical Marvel, like, okay, here's the conflict, here's the enemy, let's run through solution, end fight, whatever. Action, very action packed. Some dialogue, but plenty of action. WandaVision, we didn't see too much action, up until like maybe the end. And so, yeah, that's why it's like they're so different. It's kind of hard to compare. I know Loki had a little bit of it, and I will say, thoroughly enjoyed the action sequences, at least in this very last episode. I was like, oh, okay, like okay, Loki got some hands. All right.
Right.
And so I know that that's another thing that kind of sets them apart too, is like they're so completely different. I think for this one, for me, is like, because all of them in different ways, they're setting up different things. Like you said, it's kind of a character study. Like you're actually getting to delve more into Wanda and Vision. You're actually getting to delve more into Sam and Bucky a little bit. What kind of is going on behind the scenes, like with Bucky and everything. And so I know for those, I enjoyed them. But this one, I think because I'm kind of seeing the picture of like these shows with the movies and everything, is what's like really got me like super excited. I actually just literally posted a video because I was like now we're about to be dry on Marvel content again, bruh.
Bruh.
And I know it's only a month until What If, but like when we get this week to week, like it's such a cool experience. It's kind of like, it's very similar, the same sentiment as like Game of Thrones before it got ruined in like the final season. I don't know if you really watched it, but
I didn't, but my lady did, and she wasn't about it.
Yeah. And so, and like I remember, like I didn't even watch Game of Thrones until it was over. My now wife had watched a little bit of it in the past, but like fell off of watching it. I think just from like not having HBO anymore or something. But I watched it after it was finished, and I had heard so much about it. I remember seeing like Twitter booming on a Sunday, like Game of Thrones coming on. Everyone's like, I gotta get home, I gotta watch Game of Thrones. And like seeing that same sentiment with these Marvel shows week to week is like super cool. And so we got spoiled where like, you know, WandaVision finished. It was only a couple weeks, and then Falcon dropped, and then, you know, that we were dry for a little bit, but then Loki came in, and then we got Black Widow while Loki was going on, and it's just like, you know, like, do you remember when we were waiting like for one of these movies a year?
Yeah, bro. It like you said, we've been so spoiled. It's like we're going from series to series. The series connect to the movies that are about to drop. Like it's just been so great, especially like you said, the week to week, because we're all just waiting in anticipation. Everyone watches the episode. Theories are going wild on social media. People are posting about it, making jokes about it, or whatever the case may be. But um, I feel like this is so unprecedented what they've done over what they started in '08 over the past 13 years now. Like this is crazy where they can have shows that not only connect to the movies but follow the heroes home. Because I mean, of course, the movies have that central plot line. Everyone gets together for something. But prime example for Falcon and Winter Soldier, we got to go back to New Orleans with Sam and see him try to get a loan. He doesn't have money. It's like you never think of this stuff when like you're just watching the movie. And I feel like the shows are just doing a great job of isolating the heroes in a way that make them seem much more human. Even with Loki, because I mean we always see him in a scheme of some sort, or you know, being a vehicle with Thor, whatever the case may be. But with him just being isolated and seeing him battle his demons, battle almost using the show as therapy.
True.
You know, speaking with Mobius and going forward from there, and seeing even his growth in the finale when Sylvie just wanted to, you know, get it over with, just like let's kill him, and Loki's like, let's think about this for a second. He might be right. And knowing he wouldn't have been that way back in the past iterations of Loki, um, yeah, man, we're definitely being spoiled right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And like I definitely agree too. It's cool to see, like, because like I said, we already had that growth of Loki, like that we'd seen all the way up to Infinity War, and while obviously like it could have been done maybe a little faster, because again this contributed to the slow burn at the start of the show. I like that they kind of fast tracked that growth. We didn't have to like fully see him go through it all again, because that was one thing I was a little worried about, was like I remember seeing videos. I think Straw Hat Goofy had posted a video where he was just like, I kind of hope that Loki like sees what happened to him in the main timeline, so like he sees like where he got, and like it ended up happening. And I think that that was a good move to do, so that we didn't have to have like a full character development arc like that we'd already seen. But yeah, when seeing getting into the finale, when seeing like Loki be like, for once, let's not make a brash decision, because like old Loki would have been like, yeah, let's kill him and we'll also take over, without actually knowing like what to do. But then I enjoy too how he's like, I'm a liar and he's a liar. Like, I know what it looks like when someone's bullshitting, but yo, he might have a point. And I think that that was very neat. It was almost kind of a juxtaposition of, I guess, Hawkeye and Black Widow, like fighting over who's going to sacrifice himself. It was like watching them tear between like, here's the like justice decision for Sylvie, and like also this dude's okay with it, so like doesn't matter.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
I don't know why Siri thought I was talking to her. Be quiet. But then there's on that other side of the coin, like, we do this and like we know that there are variants. We're variants. This guy already seems crazy. what do you think a variant of him looks like? You know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dang man, like you making total sense right now, and it's
He
just
was.
yeah.
Yeah, he was like, it's just his explanation of everything. It was just like, you do not want to meet the variants of me. Like, you already see how smart I am. I've been doing this for I don't know how long at this point, and you see how smart I am, and I'm chilling right now. Imagine someone 10 times as evil as me in this seat, and that's what essentially what you're gonna get. And it was just like, dang, should they kill him? Like, I don't know if they should. And that's what Loki was trying to tell Sylvie, but Sylvie was just not having it. She's like, I came this far, I'm about to kill this man. I don't care. But again, it kind of just set up everything else that's to come. That's why I'm so excited for like Spider-Man coming up and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and just them being able to introduce everything and essentially just making everything canon at this point. Because even What If is probably going to be canon now, just because all the multiverses are accessible. So I think that was a smart move on Marvel's part too.
Yeah, I was explaining to my wife because she was looking at me kind of like I'm crazy. It's really funny.
Yeah.
She enjoys the superhero movies and everything, but I will say she definitely got more into like the MCU and watching and keeping up with it
Yeah.
because of me because I'm such a huge freaking nerd. And I
Same with
was
mine, bro.
yeah, I was getting super excited, and she was just like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, and it's kind of the caveat to the social media and access to everything. Like back in the day, we wouldn't have known all of these confirmations about who's going to be in what movie, actors who are getting confirmed to be in the cast and everything, unless we went looking for it. I literally sometimes just open a new tab on Google and a little 3 articles right in the bottom. One of them will outright say something involving Marvel or anime or that I don't I'm not looking for it and I didn't want to be spoiled about. Um, just since we're already talking about the finale and like spoilers free reign, I literally saw that this morning articles were already like Loki confirmed for a season 2, and I'm like, didn't want to know that. Like, yeah, that doesn't spoil anything, but also that lets me know that like we about to end on some BS. Like I remember, no, well, and then that goes into a con of mine with Loki. The episode's ending made me so mad. When last week's episode ended with just them walking toward the castle, I was literally like smacking a pillow next to me because I was just like, the score and the scene and the picture and the visuals had me so captivated. And then it just ripped away. And then they also flipped back on not doing after credit scenes. So I'm sitting there skipping to the end and I'm like, so that's really it. Like really for real. Um but to talk about Spider-Man, I'm sorry I went on a huge tangent just to get back to say that was where a lot of my excitement came from was like all of this stuff that we've been hearing about for like, I mean, we're going on a year, right? That we've been hearing that at the very least, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and I think like Alfred Molina at least. I think Jamie Foxx was more recently confirmed, but we're going on like a year of knowing that there were confirmed rumors about, possible Spider-Verse movie and Tobey and Andrew coming back. And so like seeing the visuals of like the timeline start to branch. Like I literally was sitting there wanting to yell at the TV like, Sylvie, just look out the window. Like you can see what he's talking about happening right now. But like you said, it just sets up so much because we got the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness title confirmed after Endgame, I feel like. And so to see like they gave us that way back then, and to see like, oh yo, like this is how we're gonna get there. Like it's super dope. And I'm excited for Spider-Verse. I mean, it may or may not happen, but this is the way they can bring in X-Men. Um, it was already Easter egged in. Aaron Davis is there. He's confirmed he's got a nephew. He doesn't want those weapons on the street, but like, this is a way that like you somehow get like a young Peter and possibly an around the same age Miles alongside the time skip, because I mean he could have not been snapped or whatever, so now he's like, you know, maybe 13 or 14. But yeah, now you have all of like those possibilities, and I think it's crazy to see how they really worked in the like sense of comic books into the shows, because like a lot of times like the whole like recasting actors but keeping the same continuity, it doesn't really work. But now it's like, we have free reign to just do whatever we want to do.
Right. And I think that's a testament to having someone in charge that knows the comics. Because, I mean, Kevin Feige, he knows the comics, and he's that one person overseeing all the projects, making sure that everything is going according to plan. While as opposed to like just the DCEU, it's just a bunch of studio heads like seeing properties that they own that they know is gonna make money regardless. I mean, if you put out a Superman, Batman movie, it's gonna make money. And that's it feels like that's the only thing that they care about. And it's weird because their animated movies are so good and they have the continuity too. Like I've been on a binge just rewatching all of them because they're on HBO Max now. So I've just been going in chronological order, and I'm just looking at it like, y'all couldn't do this live action? Like, what is going like what's happening? Because they're so good, they're so top tier, and it's like the people just doing the live action, like they just don't, it feels like they don't care, they don't listen to their fans, and they don't know the comics. So when you have that one person, that executive producer at the head of everything, you know, overseeing it all, has a plan and is able to execute that plan, it only gets top tier talent. Because I mean, the directors and showrunners for these three shows were amazing. Like they've done such an exceptional job, not only making a great show, but also making a show that'll connect directly to the movies. So, like you said, I'm so excited for the Spider-Man movie. I just need that trailer like today. I was hoping we got it today because I was like, I know the multiverse is gonna get confirmed. I just know it. And I'm just like, all right, let's go. I woke up, I was like, yeah, no trailer. All right. That's
and
cool.
and see, and that was another thing that like one about DC, to go back to that. Yes, and it kills me too, because I remember not even exactly knowing that all the movies had continuity until like I had watched like 2 or 3 of them, and then my friend was like, "Oh yeah, there was like 3 before that." And then I go watch them and I'm like, "Yo, these are the same actual trajectory of like, oh yeah, Damien was over here in this one, and now this is the same Damien from Batman versus Robin." And I'm like, yeah, how do y'all do this so well with anime? Because I'm the same way. I love the DC animated movies. I do like that. I think a route that they can typically go is they can go darker with the animated, but I'm like, just go dark with the regular one too, bro. Like most of us recognize that DC was always a little bit more gory, a little bit darker undertones. There was definitely something I hear people talk about is like a big difference with Marvel and DC is like DC has definitely more like idols, figures, superhuman type things, but
Yeah.
Marvel is full of those, but who are people too, or were people first, or still exhibit like, I don't know, societal behaviors, and like they don't all stem from crazy trauma, or are aliens or Martians or got sucked into space by a magic ring. So that's one of the things that's definitely a difference, but I do wish that they would improve. Like I literally was just like, just take y'all's time. Like y'all are trying. They tried to jump when they did they did, what is it, Man of Steel, and then it was Batman versus Superman, and I was like, okay, cool. And then but then they introduced Wonder Woman in that movie. I'm like, okay, enough. And then I think Flash was also in there for like a quick minute. But then it was like straight to Justice League. I was like, all right, so you trying to just go Justice League and gone ahead and introduce everyone right now, and like this has never worked. And then literally, I swear, like 6 months after that was when they were like, yeah, Ben Affleck says he doesn't want to play Batman anymore. I was just like, all right, well, y'all can't keep anyone either. So it's just the whole thing.